Hi and welcome back. In this video, I want us to take a look at another numeric data type called the floating point numeric data type. And so I'm going to create a file here called floating point.py, which should open in Visual Studio here. All right. So floating point data types are similar to integers in the sense that they are also numeric, but they differ in the sense that floating point data types or variables are able to store numbers that have decimal points in them. So think of the time when you do a division and the answer is not a whole number, but it has some fractional parts to it. You also want to think of writing scientific programs where you have to deal with numbers that have decimal points in them. So let's create our first floating point variable. I'm going to call that salary because I'm storing somebody's salary. So let's say there's somebody who makes $5,500.25 a month. You cannot store this in an integer data type because integer data types are meant for storing only whole numbers. So the moment you create a variable, you store a number in it, and the number has a decimal point, you are dealing with a floating point data type. Okay. You can also have some scientific numbers, like numbers that are multiplied by 10 to the power something, and you can also represent that using Python. So let's say we want to store Avogadro's constant. Okay, so I can say Avogadro's constant is equal to 6 point, let's say 04 times 10 to the power 24. I don't know if it is correct, but that is not the objective of this video. I just want to show you how you can store numbers that have 10 raised to the power something in them. Another thing I want you to take note of is on line 2, you can see that I wrote Avogadro's constant with an underscore between the Avogadro's and the constant. And this is because of what I taught you earlier. I said when you are creating a variable name and it becomes necessary for you to use a space, use the underscore instead. And the reason is that you cannot have spaces in your variable names. Python doesn't accept that. It is part of the syntax and semantic rules of the language. And so where you would otherwise use a space, you have to use the underscore for legibility and to also boost readability of your code. Okay, of course, like I said, you can also store negative numbers the same way we did with integers. So let's go ahead and print these out. So I'm going to print salary, and I'm going to print Avogadro's constant here. We are limiting ourselves to printing because that is what we know, but we will do wonderful things as we progress in this course. So I'm going to run this floating point.py, and you can see that it is printing out 5500.23, and then we also have 6.04 times 10 to the power 24. So you can see that this is how to write any number that, usually scientific numbers that are 10 to the power something. You basically bring the e, and then whatever follows is the power to which 10 must be raised to. So if you read it, you might not understand, but internally it is represented such that you can use it in your calculations and still achieve the correct result. So thank you very much for watching this, and I will see you in the next video.